Hello guys, welcome to this brand new episode of Step by Step. In this episode I will be making full-time tutorials which you will be learning cool stuff one step at a time. So in today's video you're going to learn and master the pen tool like a pro. So let's get started. Excuse me intro please guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. Here we are in Photoshop, so grab a cup of coffee or a cup of water. Okay guys, so what is the pen tool? Quickly I'll check it here in Photoshop. Head over to the pen tool, I just hover my mouse around it and I will see a little definition here. So in my own way, pen tool is a tool in Photoshop used to draw parts or shapes, right? But here we have this little definition. Pen tool makes and changes path or shapes with anchor points and handles. Okay, let's step right into it. So before you start using the pen tool, you must always know the shortcut. The shortcut is P, letter P on your keyboard, so it makes it easy. I don't need to bring my mouse to select it all the time. Before you start using the pen tool, you have to know what you want to use it for. So head over to the option bar over here. You click on the drop down arrow. You see shape and you see path. So what is a shape? A shape is a flat area surrounded by edges or an outline, right? So you might say that this is a shape because it's first of all flat and is surrounded by outlines, right? If you move to the next one, is called path. So what is a path? A path is a line with an anchor point at either end, right? So let's select path. We click here and we click here. So these two points are called anchor points because they hold the path together, right? If it's just one anchor point, you cannot call it a path, you can call it a point, right? But if you have something like this, it's called a path. So a path does not have color, right? It does not have any color, it's just colorless. So let's first of all use the pen tool for shapes. I'll select shape here. So on the fill, I can decide to put fill is the, let's say, the inner part of the shape, right, that has color. For example, this, the fill of this shape is red, right, while stroke is the outline. Is the outline. You can select the black stroke, which is the outline, and if you select the stroke color and you cannot see the stroke visible, you don't know that you have to do what? You click on the drop down arrow here, because over here is the stroke size, right? You just click here and you increase the size of the stroke. So let's proceed. So first of all, we are going to use the pen tool to draw basic lines and then we move over to basic shapes, right? But basic lines, I need to have a point, right? Point A and point B. You can see that. So if I come here to point A, I make a click. I want to draw a very straight line, right? And I come here to point B, I make a click. So that's a straight line, but it does not look straight, right? So I will have to do what? To undo. So first of all, I used to advise beginners with the pen tool to always remove the fill, no fill, and always put the stroke color, so that when we are drawing, we'll only see the line. So I start from point A, make a click, move over to point B. I did the first time, it was not straight. I press Ctrl Z on my keyboard to undo. I hold Shift now and I click here. You can see that we have a straight line, right? If you hold Shift on your keyboard and you click on the next point, you will have a very nice and beautiful straight line, right? So after drawing this, if you want to continue, you can continue over here and you join it. When you want to join, you will see a little circle and you click to join. So as you have joined it now, is now a shape. So after joining, you might decide to do what? To fill it with any color of your choice. Point A, let's say you click on point A and you do something like this. For example, you hold Shift, you click on point B. let's say you mistakenly select another tool, right, and you want to continue from where you stop, you select the pen tool. So after selecting the pen tool, you come over here to continue. You will see this icon that looks, you can see, if you come closer, if you want to continue, come closer, you will see something like this. When you see that icon, you just know that you just have to click. So you click now and you can then continue your work. So to join, you will see the circle icon before you can join. So you know that in drawing lines we have straight lines and we also have curved lines. So let's draw a straight line. You click on the first point, which is point A, you hold shift point B. So in order not to continue, you have to, after point A and B, you press enter on your keyboard to validate. So if you also want to draw a vertical, let's say a vertical line, we have the point A vertically and point B. A straight line is going to be a straight line. Just click on point A, you hold shift on your keyboard and you click on point B. After that, you press enter on your keyboard and that's a straight line. Okay, I guess you guys are enjoying the video. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. Now we are moving over to curves. You can start by making a point A, you click, and point B, you click, you hold, and you do what? You drag. You can see that you drag. So this thing that has these two, can I say two hands, are called handles. Remember that this dot here is called the anchor point. You can see that they are called the anchor point. So these thing are called the handles. So can you move the handles? Yes, you can move the handles. So you can move the handles by holding Alt on your keyboard. You move closer to it and you do what? You move the handle. So as you can see, if you move the handle to a different location, the curve now changes to a different location, right? If you bring it closer, so can you move the anchor point? You can hold Control on your keyboard, you move it here, you hold Control key on your keyboard, Control key on your Windows, then Command key on your Mac. So you hold Control and the icon changes to a direct selection tool. So you can see you can move both the anchor points and you can also move the handles. You can see that. So let's proceed. Point A, I click. Point B, I click, and do what? I drag. So I'll press enter to validate it. So now let's look at something else. What if you want to draw a circle? Can you do it this way? Click and drag. You click, and you click. You can see it's not perfect, right? So to draw a circle, you need to first of all click and you do what? You drag and you hold shift so that the handles will be straight. So this is what you do in drawing a circle. I'm just going to do a freehand. You draw it this way and you also draw it this way. You hold shifts. Make sure it's not too long. You come over here, you draw, you hold. Oh my god, this is not a circle. So guys, let's get a reference, right? Got a reference over here. Voila. It was locked, but I'm going to unlock it and use a move tool to select it. After selecting it, you bring out the rulers. If your rulers is not active, go to view and you make sure you check the rulers, make sure it's checked. So after that, I change it to centimeters because that's what I always use. So I'm going to click and drag. I bring out the ruler and make sure it's on this point, right? The vertical line and also the horizontal guide, right? After that, I'm going to lock it. Understand? So I'm going to use this guide to draw a perfect circle. I guess it will be perfect. I select my pen tool. I click a little bit here and do what? I drag while holding shift. I guess that's right. I click over here and drag while holding shift. Oh, God help me. I click over here. I hold Alt while holding shift. Sorry. This is going to be a little bit. Hold shifts, click and drag, and I also complete it over here. So at least you can see that you can use it to draw curves, right? But it's not really necessary for you to use this to draw a circle. If you want to use a circle, just move over to the shape tool and just draw your perfect circle. No need to stress yourself, guys. So So you guys should try it out, and you can also let me know in the comment section below how it's going over there. That's it for shapes. You can try to draw like things like shapes like rectangles, triangles, but you cannot draw a perfect triangle over here without using a guide, right? So you go over to view, you move over to show, and you move over to grid, right? So when you're on grid, you can now use these boxes to draw a perfect square, perfect rectangle. For example, I start over here with a click, I hold shift, I click over here, hold shift, click over here, click over here according to, make sure it's matching, and I do what, join it over here. So I have a perfect rectangle. This is a perfect rectangle. You can see that it's really nice and it's really cool. So beneath the pen tool, we have things like freeform pen tool. I'm going to click it. Freeform pen tool is like using a pencil to draw. I'm going to draw a circle. This is a very beautiful circle, and I draw this circle. You can see that this circle has so many anchor points, right? Whereas the circle we drew earlier had only 1, 2, 3, and 4 anchor points, right? But this has so many anchor points. That means if there's so many anchor points in your, let's say, your curve, your work will not be perfect, right? So how do you see the anchor points on shapes? I'm just going to delete this. Select the shape tool, for example the circle, ellipse tool. You draw a perfect circle while holding shift. So as you can see here, you have 4 anchor points, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Same as the rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4 anchor points, you can see. So if you select the pen tool and you hold Control, you can be able to move this. Let's say you double click and you move it, the anchor point. This operation will turn into a live path. You can say continue, you can say yes. You hold Control rather, you click and drag. You can see that we can just draw let's say a rough shape and join it here. So you can right click here. Freeform is just to draw it freehand. We have curvature pen, we have add anchor points and delete anchor points. So add anchor point is to just add this point to your shape, right? Which you might use it to distort the shape, and that is to change the form of the shape. So we're going to use delete anchor point, right? Select the delete anchor point tool, or with the pen tool we can also get the delete anchor point by, we can just come close to it. When you see a minus sign beneath your pen tool, know that it's to delete anchor points, and when you see a plus sign, that means it's to add anchor point, right? So I just right click here, select the delete anchor point tool, I just delete it. As you can see, it has turned into a curve. Delete, 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 and the shape is gone, right? So that's it for delete anchor point. So for add anchor point is like, I use a pen tool to draw like something like a rectangle. Okay, then I right click, select the add anchor point. Let's say I want to add a point here. I move closer to the path, I click and I click. So if I hold Control on my keyboard, I can be able to double click on this point, drag it to the, let's say to deform it, and you do what? You do the same thing over here. Oops. You can do the same thing to deform it. So that's it for add anchor point. And we have convert point to, that means convert point to is simply if I want to move the handle. You can see if I want to convert the point, move it from here, to move the handle. You can see if I move the handle, the shape has changed, right? You can also achieve that by just using the pen tool alone, right? It normally works when you're drawing curves, right? So let's see something. Click and drag. When this point is still available, if you want to continue here, it's going to create a curve there. But if you don't want to continue, you just have to do what? You cut, you hold out, you go closer to the anchor point, and you click to cut it. After that, you can now join it. As simple as that. So, and one other thing, if you are drawing something like this, and if you want to move, and let's say the anchor point here, because when you draw like this, he has already stand here and you will not be able to move it except you hold the space bar on your keyboard. You can hold it and control it to another direction. You can see it. That means you move the anchor point with the handles at the same time. So I hope it was helpful. You can use it to draw basic shapes, and please keep watching the video because I'm going to show you a game that you can use to practice the pen tool. So let's keep going. Select the pen tool, go to shape again. Let's say you draw a shape, you fill it with a color, you remove the stroke. So we have another tool here that is called the curvature pen tool. If you select it now and you come over here, because this is a flat surface, so you come over here, you click and you drag to increase. You can see it's now creating a nice curve. You can just point 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this, right? You use the curvature pen tool, curvature pen tool, you click, you click here and you do what? You drag. You click here, you drag. And if you want to also modify a particular anchor point, you can just come again and you modify it. You can see it's as simple as anything. So the easiest way to also learn pen tool and master it like a pro is if you practice it every day. So guys, I have a beautiful image over here. So let's move over to the next part of the video, which is using the pen tool to crop images. For example, I want to remove the background of this image. You can decide to use other tools in Photoshop, but me, I always prefer using the pen tool. When cropping with the pen tool, you come over here, you select path. After path, you now zoom in to your image very well. We want to start it. You click outside, you move over here, you click and you do what? You drag, because it seems it has a little curve over there. You click and you drag. You move over here, you click and you drag it a little bit. Click and you do what? You drag it to this direction. First of all, you must make sure you are in control of your mouse, not your mouse being in control of you. So take note of that. You push it here. If you want to continue and it's giving you something like this, you do what? You undo. You hold out on your keyboard and you do what? You cut this handle. You can see. So you just continue it manually. You cut this handle. To move it like this, you hold the space bar, right? Instead of zooming in and zooming out, zooming in and zooming out, right? You just hold the space bar, you click to move it around. You can see that little hand over there. You come here, you click and you do what? You drag. So in a place like this, you can see that the curve is long, right? You don't just come and do things like this. I don't want anyone to do things like this because the skin is going to be rough. So you get rid of that. I'm going to the anchor point is here. I'm just going to come here, click, and I do what? I drag it nicely, and I continue here. I zoom out. Okay, it's beautiful. Outside here, I'm just going to select this. I come and click here and do this. And I click here. Click and drag. You click and you do what? You drag. Make sure you're in control of your mouse. And you join it where you started it. Okay, after joining, you now make selection. Either you right click and click on make selection, or on the option bar you click on selection. So selection, we have what we call the feather radius. The feather radius is the amount of feathering. That means how sharp the edges, right? If it's on 0.0 or 0.1, know that the edges will be too sharp. So I don't like making the edge to be too sharp. I always like making it a little bit blur, like I give it sometimes 0.5, 0.6. It's just a choice. Just choose the one that you think that will suit it best. So I will go with 0.7 and click OK. See, it has now created the the matching ant. It has now made the selection. So after that, I'll unlock my layer and I'll click on the max icon to max the image. Beautiful and nice, right? So what if you want to select another portion of the image? For example, I want to select the nose and the mouth at the same time. Okay, I'll just do it roughly. Sorry, it's not accurate. I join it and I move to the next part. And I join it, right? So if I make selection 0.7, okay, it only selects but one. Have you seen it? It only makes a selection on one, right? So I will have to just undo the selection. After selecting both portion, you come over here, you right click here. This is the part selection tool. It is used to select part, and this is the direct selection tool, right? So that direct selection tool is what we did earlier, that we hold control and we were moving anchor points and the handles of our shape, right? So this is the part selection tool. It's used to select part. So this part is already selected. I can hold shift to select another part. You can see that. After that, you now go to the pen tool again and you make selection. So it has now selected both of them. So you don't have, because we are using a max, it's not raster. I'm just maxing my image. So you cannot just go back and max it again, right? It's not proper. So all you need to do is, this is the max. This is the max, and the part that is hidden is black. The part that is visible is white. So if I want this part to be hidden, that means I must make it to be black. So how do I do that? I go over to my brush tool. Make sure it's a nice soft round brush. I increase the hardness a little bit and I reduce the size a little bit. So on the foreground color, make sure the max is selected, right? On the foreground color, I will change it to black. So you can see, if it was another color, just click here to reset it to default. And you also click here to tweak, to toggle it or to switch. So you now come and just, you can see it's not really cleaning it very well. You come over to opacity and increase it to 100%, and you do what? You clean it off. So this makes it indestructible. Understand? If you want to bring it back, to get rid of the matching ant, you press Ctrl D on your keyboard to deselect. So you can see this is indestructible. That means if I want to review this part, I can change my brush color to white and I bend over it to reveal it. So that's it, guys. If you have any question or any problem, just write it down in the comment section, and also don't forget to like this video and subscribe. So let's head over to the game. So the link is in my description, so make sure you check that. Okay, here we are on the site, the Bezier game. So the link is down in the description below, so check it out, bezier.method.ac. So here is an online tool which you can use to master the pen tool. So without further ado, let's check out this game. So this is it. I will start with some basic lines, basic part. Just start to make a click, make another click while holding shift on your keyboard to make it straight. Understand? And make another click. That was so simple. So you can see the shift here is showing you an indication of what to do. You click, you hold shift, you click, you make a click, a third knot, 2 remaining, click, 1 remaining, and you do what? You join it. This one as well is also simple. Now we have the circle over here. Just click and drag it according to how it is shown here. Click and drag, hold shift at once, you click and you drag, hold shift, click, hold shift, drag, and you now join the last one. So this is an heart. You hold out of it as is shown here, you click, you start over here, you click and drag according to that direction. Make sure the handles are the same according to what is shown here. So this part you hold out while holding your mouse, you don't release it, and push it the other way Okay, one node remaining. Click, you drag it this other way and you hold out. You now join it. Click and drag according to this first handle. This was quite easy, but this one is going to be a little bit complicated. But for you to be able to master the pentool, you need to sort this out. Don't be afraid, just keep trying and keep learning. My name remains Heston the Quickest. Please support this channel by just liking the video, subscribe, hit the notification button so you get notified when I drop new video, because more amazing videos are coming on the way.